have with us designer Gauri and Nainika. The designs are like an elegant melange of flamboyance and extravagance, having designed global icons for Oscar red carpet and Screen Actor Guild Awards to Indian Bollywood divas like Aishwarya to Deepika to Alia more recently. These flowy silhouettes have always enamored everyone. A very warm welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you with us as our awardees for the fourth edition of PEAKLIFE Women Inspire Awards. These awards are curated to felicitate women achievers like you. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
All right, I'll start with the beginning of your career. In the year 2002, with the advent of your brand, Indian Modern Woman got an evening wear brand with styles ranging from cocktail dresses to elaborate bespoke gowns. This wasn't there, right? So, what was the idea behind it? How did it come about?
Well, clearly, Nainika and I loved fashion. And growing up, we had this innate love for feminine glamour. Our first, I would say, our first idea of glamour was probably our mother, who wore like big sunglasses, red lipstick. She used to wear like these, really fitted jeans with a denim shirt, and she just appeared to us. She was the most glamorous person in the world. And then that defined glamour for us going forward. Like we started seeing all these old Hollywood films,
Right.
and we would, and the actresses there, like Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly. I mean, they just inspired Nainika and I. Their clothes, the way they look, the way they carry themselves, and there's like a lot of romanticism and an element of fantasy and all that. And so we liked a certain kind of like, which is our brand sensibility, and we always liked a certain kind of like a style. And and when we wanted to get into fashion, we thought we'd create that because also it was not in India at the time.
Yes.
So that was just how we started the whole thought process behind it, and then
yeah, I think that when when we were young, you never got Western clothes in India, and we used to try and make our own clothes. And my father actually said, he was like, "You both love fashion so much. Why don't you study fashion? You're always making your own clothes." Because Gauri even back then was making like beautiful silk pants with like these cord sets that are relevant even today. So fuchsia pink silk white leg pants with like a halter neck silk matching top with a big bow here and a big bow here. I mean, those are the kind of clothes that we actually were making before we even launched our own label. So my father said that why don't you both start your own fashion label, since you always trying to make your own clothes. And then we were like, okay. And then we studied fashion, and he pushed us actually to follow this dream of ours, kind of. And then and soon after that we launched our own label.
You know what? One thing that really make I would say any fashion patron proud about Gauri and Nainika designs is the fact it speaks global language. Your designs can be won by a woman sitting in, LA or being in India. How do you balance this? The design philosophy, if you can elaborate a little on this, which kind of works across. How does that happen?
Well, I think it's essentially a Western wear brand. So I guess it fits in, and Western wear is global fashion now, so it does fit in anywhere. And I think that even though the clothes are, they're all inspired by they have this old world glamour, and they're all inspired by, say, old Hollywood or fashion history. I think they're also still relevant, and we kind of modernize it in our own way, and that's why women can relate to it all over the world, because everyone's sort of wants that movie star glamour, or that feeling like when they go out for their cocktail or for a big party, or when it's their big night. It could be their wedding or their like an important milestone birthday, and they want to really feel like a movie star. And I think that anyone all over the world can relate to that sort of fashion.
Wow.
Yeah. Fashion, anyhow, in this day and age, has become very global, very international. Everything is available to you on the internet. So it's that way. It's easy to balance it.
Right. So I'm very intrigued to ask this question. Between both of you, how does the creative process works? Who has the brain more into research, who's more about and two strong women working together. It's a beautiful, combination. So please tell something about that, no?
Well, we've always been in sync our entire lives, and we have the same tastes and preferences, and we love the same things. So we're passionate about we're very passionate about the kind of design that we do. It comes naturally to us, and we always design together. But I think we bring different things to the table, which is really important. So, like Gauri's got a very organized mind, and she is really good at planning. She's also got the most sophisticated, classy sort of, I think, taste in anything, you know. So she has an eye. She has a real eye for the ultimate sophistication, I would say. And I'm really good with fashion art and garment construction. So we kind of combine that, and you know.
Well,
So
I think Nainika, yeah, more than that, I've always loved fashion history a lot. I even did a course in fashion history when I was in London
Okay.
briefly because I loved it so much. I used to read books on it. So for me, like when you're saying research, I kind of am always looking for new ideas and inspirations. I mean, both of us do, but sometimes it comes to me, sometimes it comes to her, and then how to sort of, so I would say, you know, how to put that into a collection, how
Right.
to set that mood. I would usually discuss it with Nainika, and then she's brilliant at I mean at everything. She's brilliant at execution and designing, and she gets into the details of a design. Like sometimes I'll be like, why can't we make this? And I won't understand how it has to be constructed. Like I would still
Right.
struggle with that. But with
Right.
her, it just comes to us naturally. She's like, no, we can't do this, but we can make it look like this. We can draw it like this, or we can cut it like this. And she understands like fabric and drapes and like I said, all the technicalities of construction. So
Right.
without her, I mean,
I
it
know
would
we
not
feel the
run.
same way. We feel the same way about each other, but it's nice that we have different strengths.
And her, course, like her sketching is brilliant. So it's amazing because we have this idea of a garment in our head, and
It
I
comes
think
as it is on the
it's too
paper.
much.
yeah, and then I just tell Nerica and she'll sketch it out, and it looks exactly like the garment. And
Wow.
yeah, and what's funny is like we make like a big sheet with all the sketches before doing a show. And when the show happens and we look at the sketches and we look at the show photos, they look like identical. And this is even before the garment was sampled.
No
So
wonder your dresses, your designs look like a story. I always feel they look like a story in itself. I really like the brand and the growth that your brand has had, cross fingers. So,
Thank
please
you.
tell something about do you think it has evolved? Some milestones that you can count for us, or something the way you think, the brand has evolved over the years.
Uh, so the brand has grown organically, and it's always evolving. Even now, we are evolving because you have to. That's the thing with fashion. You need to
Right.
constantly
And when I
be
mean,
on top of change, and you need to reinvent yourself.
yeah, and when we were younger, I think our brand was also younger, even though it was always very classic and timeless. And it was never trendy or, yeah, it was always very, very elegant. And the focus was always on making extremely beautiful feminine clothes. So that is still there from like that has carried throughout our
Yeah.
time, and it's in our brand DNA. But I would say that the label is obviously matured as we have matured. And yeah, I mean, right from our first fashion show, which was the most exciting thing, to, tying up with stores and suddenly being available all over India, or otherwise like doing a grand finale, or suddenly having the first time that Aishwarya Rai wore our outfit on the red carpet, or first time our outfit was worn at the Oscars, the Golden Globes. These are all different milestones that we've
Yes.
been really happy about. And yeah.
So I was actually coming to my next question. In India, we have always idolized these Bollywood icons. You've been dressing up Aishwarya, Bipasha, Katrina, Deepika. You name them and they've worn your designs. How is the experience of working with them? If you can tell us a little specific, who's particular about what? For instance, if I may ask, what is it that Aishwarya is particular about? Something like that.
Well, we used to work directly with the actresses a lot when we started, because that time there were no stylists. So it
Right.
was a lot of fun actually interacting with actresses. We would go to Bombay, meet them, and that time we would go meet Aishwarya all the time, or Bipasha, Katrina. We would sort of personalize things for them, discuss with them, what they liked, what suited them, and it was a lot of fun. But then, of course, like now things have changed for the better, because everything is more streamlined as
Yes.
well, and
Yes.
and actually having a stylist does help a lot.
Yes.
So working with the stylist is also a lot of fun, and it's always actually been it's been a great experience with us. All of them have been
Very,
very gracious,
Yes.
friendly. We've got along with them really well,
and there's always been a lot of trust,
yeah.
Yes.
on the designers. Like, what would you think? And like you said, you asked about Aishwarya, for example. She is, she was like very, very gracious, extremely polite, very nice, very respectful of our work. And it was a pleasure always to meet her and do work with her. Of course, everyone is particular about the garment looking
Yes.
perfect. But like I said, they also have that faith in us where it's like,
Yeah.
you'll do it. So it's
You know,
never been.
sorry to break in, but I particularly wanted to ask about Alia Bhatt recently. At the time awards, she wore your design. And throughout her maternity period, her pregnancy period, she's been very particular about her looks, and she's carried it very well. So can you tell us what was the brief and, the gown that she wore, the golden gown?
That was styled by Naita, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was styled by Naita.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That's
And Anaita, so Anaita was in touch with us for that.
Okay.
And she saw we had just done a shoot with the garment along those lines.
All
And
right.
I think she had the eye for it. And she just said, this is what Alia wants. This is what I want. And it's very interesting because we had to make it, we had to guess. It was made at night. Remember how that garment was made over.
That happens all the time, though. With especially working with actresses, things always
It's
happen
like, oh,
overnight.
oh my God, we need to make it now, and we have so many days. You have to procure the fabric, treat it, do things, and
Pleat it and everything. But yeah, it was interesting because for a pregnant body, you always have to, make it according to that body. So
Right.
we changed our style and made it an empire cut. We draped it in a way that it gave her the cape sleeves and everything sat really well on her body.
And she looks spectacular.
She carried it so well.
Yes.
Yeah. And these were the last months, so must be at a prime of.
It was actually very special. It's very special to make a gown for Alia while she was pregnant, and at the same time, we also made a gown for Bipasha Basu for her baby shower while she was also pregnant, and recently for our friend Archana, who for her baby shower, her shoot, and it's actually
Masoom worked
and Masoom worked for us when she was pregnant. So we've had a lot of pregnant women wearing our designs of late, and like
It's
amazing.
an idea for a new line.
Yeah, no, but we've always made clothes for pregnant women. Like people who are pregnant come to us and we do customized clothes for them all the time.
I was just talking and asking about your latest collection, which is Midnight Botanica. So please tell us your spring summer collection, the inspiration behind it, what all is there, the cuts. You can explain something.
So this collection was a collaboration with R. Elan,
Okay.
and they make a sustainable, eco-friendly, beautiful fabrics that have like a stunning drape to them. So when we first started, we first collaborated with them. Nainika and I went to Surat, and we had to see all their textiles and meet all different vendors, and that got us thinking because they were very fluid, they were very flowy, they had a beautiful drape and luster. So we were like, okay, so we do something again, soft, romantic.
The fabrics
fluid.
very often inspire the collection, and then there's the mood as well. So we had done a lot of floral prints that were very bright and sort of light and sunny in the last few collections. So we wanted to actually change the mood and do something very like sort of dark and romantic, but really beautiful. So that's why we went for Night Botanical.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, so it was Night Botanical. I mean, we love flowers, we love conservatories. Nainika and I, we've always loved, and of course, floral prints, like you said, all women do. And we work with a graphic designer from Ukraine who does all our, she does our.
She's an artist who has painted actually all these prints for us. So all the prints that we've done in the last few collections have actually been painted by her. So and that's a lot of work which we work directly with her, where every flower, everything that's written, every color, every shade, we kind of decide together. So all the prints we design we work very closely with an artist to design all these prints, and that's a lot of fun.
Right. In last 20 years, this tremendous growth that has happened around. If we talk about social media, a lot of other aspects, if you talk about India being on the global platform, if I take you back at that time to now, do you think being a woman or being two girls out there to create a global fashion brand, do you think it would have been easier now? Or how has it been for two girls out there?
But I don't think there's anything different for a man or a woman. There's absolutely no difference over there. It's equally challenging or easy for a man or a woman to create a brand. But I think that there are pros and cons to have launched a brand in the year 2000 and to launch a brand in the year 2022. They're two very, very different things because, like you said, the world has changed entirely. But I don't think it's easier now. I don't think it was easier then. They're just very simply, there are pros and cons to both sides. So today you can actually become an overnight success in many ways because of social media, as you said, and celebrity endorsement, or if you have the right investment, if you're a startup, so all these things. Whereas back then, everything was more slow and more organic. So with us, it was more slow and organic for sure. But at the same time, there were not as many people doing what we were doing. So I would say competition was maybe less, or it was.
And it was simpler.
It was simpler,
just simpler. That
it was easier to get noticed.
I would say Nainika and I are more old school in our ways. And when it comes to like social media and there's so much going on, we kind of, don't understand a lot of it. Especially me. So there, I think for us, I mean, I would not do it.
We leave it to the professionals, of course. But Gauri and I are not ourselves obsessively into social media at all. But I think that it has become, like as Gauri was saying, it's become very fast paced now. And Gauri and I still like to sit with our paper and pencil and think and sketch and get a sample made and do our shoot, and actually not just have a massive PR machinery working around like, a gazillion things and at the same time. I mean, things kind of happen with us. Like, we don't think that, okay, we'll design these 10 outfits and place them on these celebrities. Like, it's nothing like that. Things kind of fall into place on their own.
Right. And how about, because you go out, your brand has a global presence. When we talk about India as compared to the world fashion, what would you say? How are we progressing? Something about the India story.
Very fast, if you see. Yes. International fashion is all available in the country. You can even ship things from abroad. If you see how all our movie stars are dressed on the red carpet, you see that many are wearing international brands now. So fashion has just become, it's you can't even call it Indian or global. It's just global now, and India is a part of that.
Right.
Very much. And so many Indian fashion designers have made such a mark outside of India as well. And the amazing thing is that they've done it with Indian clothes or Indo-Western clothes very often, or highlighting like the Indianness in their clothes, the embroideries or the motifs, or like look at what Sabyasachi's done in New York. He's taken India to New York, literally. So it's obviously one thing is really proud of what a lot of Indian fashion designers have achieved globally, and people are taking notice of what Indian designers are doing within Indian fashion even.
Right. If I ask your personal design, your personal style, how would you define that? Like each of you.
Mine is mine is simple
and classic and super glamorous also.
And when I go out for like a big evening, I love being very glamorous, but again clean. Like it's not over the top at all. So if I have like a big outfit, I'll keep the accessories really minimal, just a pair of earrings or necklace or something. And there's always red lipstick.
Yeah, Gauri is all about red lipstick, black wing eyeliner, pearls, and like big ball gown. So totally like classic Grace Kelly.
Yes, the old time Grace, right?
And Nainika experiments more.
No, but even I like everything to be pretty simple and clean and classic. But I love drama. And I like bold statement-making outfits, whether it could be a simple top or a jumpsuit or a dress or a gown. But I like things bold and fun and statement-making.
Yes, there's an element of fun in Nainika's clothes.
That reflects in your designs also.
Yeah, we have both. We have what she loves and what I love, and you can see that in our shows as well.
Yes, it reflects. And I'm sure there are highs, but there's some days which is low, right? So what brings you back? Your way of dealing with negativity.
Creative process.
Right.
That just brings it back. Just when we sit down and we start working on new styles, and
we try
your mind starts racing, and when you see the samples and you see it come to life, it's always a thrill, and it always inspires us.
Okay. And something, since it's the event, our awards are about felicitating women achievers, I'd like to ask you, what is the definition of an empowered woman for you?
Well, I think an empowered woman is a woman who can take her own decisions, who's free to do what she wants, what she loves, follow her dreams, who can be everything at the same time: a mother, a wife, a daughter, a businesswoman,
Or
or
just do
an
what she
entrepreneur.
likes.
Yeah.
I think Nainika very rightly said, a woman who just has the strength and the freedom to do what she truly desires to do and feels. And it's, I think these days you have a lot of women who are like that, which is amazing.
Both of you continue to be inspiration. If there are girls who would like to be at a place where you are today, what tip or advice would you like to share with them? Maybe
Gauri and I've always said this whenever we've been asked this question. We've always said that it sounds very cliche, but you have to follow your dream. You have to sort of believe in following your dream and doing what you really love to do, because and you can find what you enjoy doing and do that. It could actually be something small and simple or something really big. It doesn't have to always be the biggest thing. Like, I don't think that it's important for every single person to be hugely successful when it comes to their career, or to be financially, like, make it like in a mega way. Like, success is defined in so many different ways. So if you do what makes you happy and follow your dreams, I think that would define you. That would make you an empowered,
And
successful
I
woman.
would say just, you should be passionate about what you do. And whatever you do, give it your best, put in your 100% and work hard. And I don't think there's anything that's going to stop you.
Absolutely.
that's great. That's a good ending point for me. Thanks for your time. I think this should be
Thank
good
you,
for us.
Princy.
Thanks a
Thank
lot. We look forward to have you over for the award ceremony.
We're super
Yes.
excited about
Yes,
it. Thank
you're
you.
absolutely